All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the World of Wrestling podcast. Here today to discuss about WWE Monday Night Raw, October 20th, 2025 review. This episode was fairly decent. I enjoyed this episode. I thought it was pretty good, and it gelled well. It had good story. Let's just get into it. So Adam Pearce came out to start off the show to announce the injury that occurred to Seth Rollins during Crown Jewel, and that he is actually going to become stripped of the championship. Bron Breakker came out with Bronson Reed and Paul Heyman. Adam Pearce asked him to hand over the championship since he is stripping Seth Rollins of the title. And they actually smiled when this was announced. Pearce says, "We won't be without a champion for long. We will crown a new champion in Salt Lake City at Saturday night's main event." The crowd boos. They were hoping the crowning of a new champion would happen tonight. Pearce says, "We'll determine his opponent the old school way with a battle royal to determine the challenger. Takes place tonight." The crowd actually cheers for that. I don't know why. It's just your normal everyday battle royal that pretty much is bland as shit. Wish they kind of took the TNA concept where they eliminated everybody until the final two and then go to a pinfall finish or submission in these kinds of situations, because at least it would be more legitimate in my personal opinion, but it is what it is. Pearce says the title doesn't belong to Rollins nor to Bron Breakker. Pearce tells Breakker to hand the title over, and Breakker laughs and takes the microphone from Heyman. Breakker asks, "And what if I don't?" Heyman asks for a minute and talks to Breakker about this, and Breakker wants Pearce to give him some respect. Pearce nods and respectfully asks for the title. Breakker hands his sunglasses to Heyman and gets closer to Pearce. A CM Punk chant picks up, angering Breakker, and Breakker says to Pearce, "Say please." Pearce takes off his glasses and says, "Braun, respectfully, I'm going to need you to hand over the world title now, please." Breakker chuckles and says, "That wasn't so hard, was it?" And Breakker gives the title to Heyman, who then presents it to Pearce. Pearce thanks them and leaves the ring. Heyman says before we can move on with the show, somebody smartened him up on to this. Why is everyone so mad at him? Heyman gets it. Heyman also watched Unreal. They're the bad guys. They're the heels. It's easy to point them finger at them and boo. What did they do to deserve that? The Vision had nothing to do with Seth Rollins. Heyman didn't leave the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, and betray his best friend CM Punk for Seth Rollins. Heyman pulled that move at WrestleMania because Bron Breakker is the future of WrestleMania. Heyman pulled those moves at WrestleMania because deep in his heart, he always knew that Bronson Reed was better than Roman Reigns. Reed proved that in Perth, Australia. It was a tribal thief over tribal chief. Then the fans chanted for OTC. It was a vision over bloodline. Rollins couldn't point to the future with his one good arm. Rollins couldn't shoulder the responsibility of leading the Vision into the future. That was a nice touch by Paul Heyman, mentioning the shoulder injury as a way of using it figuratively, of carrying the responsibility of being a leader. Not with his bum shoulder, he says. Rollins isn't a visionary or a revolutionary. He's not the workhorse of the Shield or the leader of the Vision. Rollins is a bum-shouldered bitch. Which kind of made him have to eat his own words later on in the night when Becky Lynch got a hold of him, which was kind of funny. Winners write history. Breakker and Reed are the winners. Rollins isn't going to main event WrestleMania. That spot has been taken by Breakker. Breakker and Reed can conspired to take that away from Rollins. They had the ambition, the need, and intensity to become WrestleMania main eventers. That's not revisionist history. That's a revision of the future. Heyman thanks the crowd for their indulgence and affording him with this time. Heyman sarcastically says, "Oh yeah, and by the way, welcome to Monday Night Raw." And then the revision walks off. So now they're calling themselves the Revision. I don't know. I guess it sounds like a nice touch. Backstage, we have Maxine Dupree walking with Otis and Akira Tozawa. She'll battle Becky Lynch for the IC Championship, Women's IC Championship. The Women's World Champion Stephanie Vaquer will also battle Roxanne Perez. Rusev is summonedly walking backstage. He'll battle Dominic Mysterio. This is just going over the list of matches that are going to take place while they are entering the arena. Next, we have the Judgment Day backstage. Finn Balor and JD McDonough are talking with Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. WWE IC Champion Dominic Mysterio walks in. Balor is upset that he went to Adam Pearce and got them into this title match. Mysterio says he was only saying he is the only one defending his title lately. Mysterio asks if they can't handle AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. Mysterio has already beaten them. Balor says they can take care of them, but they can't help him in his match. They walk off and Perez tells Mysterio not to worry about it. Rodriguez tells her to focus. So we get our first match of the night with the World Tag Team titles on the line, with Dragon Lee and AJ Styles going up against Finn Balor and JD McDonough. This was a very entertaining and fun matchup. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee both win this match. They win the matchup to become the new tag team champions with the Styles Clash to Finn Balor. And what a moment. There's also a little bit of a story being told besides that Dom was acting like he was trying to help, but didn't seem to make any moves to help in that sense. So AJ Styles and Dragon Lee become the new tag team champions. They celebrate the World Tag Team Championship as pyrotechnics go off. And then we head to the locker room. Jimmy Uso is in the locker room with his brother, Jey Uso. Jimmy sarcastically asks if he should acknowledge him. Jey says he's not mad at Jimmy. He's mad at himself for making the same mistake he made in Paris. Jimmy reminds him that Roman Reigns isn't here and isn't in the Battle Royal. They are. Jey didn't lose his title because he was looking out for others. He lost the World Championship because he stopped believing in himself. Jey says Jimmy may be right, but Reigns might be right as well. Jimmy says they'll figure it out in the Battle Royal tonight and will go hard on everyone, including his brother. Jey says he's fine with that and asks if they are good. Jimmy says yeet, and that's that. Next we have Dominic Mysterio going one-on-one against Rusev in another creative matchup by Dominic Mysterio, overcoming the odds of Rusev, and still ends up winning this match. He brings in the hammer like he did last week, and he tries to hit Rusev with it. The referee grabs the hammer from him, and then Rusev kind of turns his back to Dominic Mysterio, trying to get the attention of the ref to pay attention to what's going on in the ring. And Dominic Mysterio comes behind him and low blows him right in the balls. He ends up falling forward on top of the ropes, and Dom hits the 619 followed by the frog splash and gets the 1-2-3 for the victory. I thought that was fucking fantastic. That was an excellent, excellent way of ending. He's becoming very creative in his cheating ways. And he's doing what Uncle Eddie used to do. He'd have been very proud of him if he was still here. Fucking amazing shit. Rusev ferociously comes to in the ring. Penta wipes him out with a springboard DDT. Mysterio watches on from the stage, and that's it. Next, we have Maxine Dupree warming up with Otis and Akira Tozawa. The Women's IC Championship will be on the line next. This match, I would say, was actually fairly decent. Maxine Dupree was pretty darn good in her matchup for this IC Championship, despite the fact that she fell short because of the DQ. She still ended up technically winning the match, but never won the title. But her performance was not bad. She's getting better. I gotta admit, I think Maxine Dupree should get more credit than Jade Cargill. And I'll tell you why. Because Jade Cargill does not improve. If you look at what she did in AEW and look what she's doing now, it's the same. Nothing has changed with her. Nothing's gotten better with her. She's just blah. She's there. That's it. I do not see her as an evolving and improving talent. She's just there. That's all. Plain and simple. So my attitude is, fuck her. I don't give a shit. She's not important to me, nor should I give a shit. So, fuck it. That's pretty much my attitude. So there you go. But yeah, Maxine Dupree, good matchup with Becky Lynch. I enjoyed this matchup, despite the disqualification. Lynch attacks Dupree after the match in the corner and boots her in the face. Lynch hits a manhandle slam and stands over Dupree with the title before walking off. Next, we get a video package of Kabuki Warriors are shown. Asuka says Rhea Ripley got exactly what she deserved. Asuka wants Ripley to remember that she ruined her trip home. Kairi Sane claps for her. Asuka says they broke Io Sky's spirit before breaking Ripley's face. Zane says Ripley tore their family apart, so she has to pay. Asuka yells at Zane before backing off. Last week, Zane showed Asuka exactly what she wanted. Zane was ruthless, which is how they need to be to take care of Ripley and Io Sky. Asuka says they need a new challenge. They need gold around their waists. This is a warning to the entire tag team division. The Kabuki Warriors are back. Wow. The women's division in tag team wrestling sucks anyway, so who gives a shit? Next, we had Stephanie Vancouver making her way out for her match against Roxanne Perez. Before that match took place, we had a backstage segment with Adam Pearce, who opens the door for Paul Heyman. And Pearce says he's been waiting for Heyman for 45 minutes. Pearce says he had to make a graphic change. Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed are no longer in the Battle Royal. Heyman is not pleased, and Pearce asks if he'd like them to be put back into the match. Heyman says he would. Pearce aggressively says, "Say please." Heyman grovels and begs for them to be put back in the match. And Pearce says, "That wasn't so hard." Heyman says it wasn't, and it was a pleasure to do business with him. Pearce says, "They're still not in the Battle Royal," and slams a door in his face. That was funny. And then Becky Lynch shows up. Heyman sarcastically says this day is getting better and better. Heyman turns and faces Becky Lynch, the wife of Seth Rollins. Heyman says, hi Becky. Lynch approaches him and gets him against the wall. And Heyman says he had no choice. Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed conspired against Seth Rollins because of his injury. And Heyman got in between her husband and Reed and Bron Breakker. Heyman put himself in physical jeopardy until he had no choice. Heyman says he had to survive last week. Unfortunately, her husband didn't. Heyman says he's sorry about that, but there is a vision that includes Becky Lynch. It's a win-win for her. She could have a hot husband at home and an adorable Oracle on the road. Oh, God. Becky Lynch, though, calls him a penguin-faced prick. I love that. That was a great description of Paul Heyman. His snake oil salesman techniques won't work on her. Rollins used Heyman. When he comes back, Rollins won't hurt Heyman. Heyman is nothing to him. Heyman will be nothing without him. All the people who Heyman loves in this business, whatever Nepo baby he is attached to, Rollins will kill him. That's pretty gnarly. Anyway. Next we have the Women's World Champion Stephanie Vaquer against Roxanne Perez. Again, I don't know what it is, but I'm not impressed with Stephanie Vaquer. I don't think she's that great. Her in-ring work, yeah, I like. I don't think it's bad. I think it's good, but she doesn't have any crowd reaction. She doesn't have really much of a story about her character. She just has some sort of demonic gimmick garbage. I don't even know what the fuck that's supposed to be. And personally, nor do I care. I am not impressed with her gimmick. I think it's very bland. There's nothing to it. So, my attitude is, I don't care for her. Roxanne Perez, I would put a world title on her than Stephanie Vaquer. Quite frankly, I don't know why Io Sky didn't win outside of the storyline they were trying to tell with the Kabuki Warriors and Rhea Ripley and herself of Io Sky. Other than that, personally, nothing really mattered with Stephanie Vaquer. She's not that impressive to me. I just don't find her that entertaining. That's all. Plain and simple. But yeah, anyway, after the match was over, Stephanie Vaquer celebrated and then got attacked by Rodriguez. Judgment Day starts to double team her. Nikki Bella shows up and runs in for the save. Bella takes it to Rodriguez and Perez, and Rodriguez hits Bella with a big boot. Vaquer goes for a springboard missile dropkick, but she slips off the ropes, and Vaquer quickly gets up and hits Rodriguez with a DDT. Perez goes for an attack, but Bella punches her down. There must have been a wardrobe malfunction because the screen blacks out for a moment, and Perez was knocked out of the ring during the time. Vaquer and Bella embrace in the ring. Not liking that visual. That probably means that Stephanie Vaquer is more than likely going to end up challenging or being challenged by Nikki Bella for her women's world title, which I personally do not give a shit to see. So backstage, we have Adam Pearce talking with Lyra Valkyria, but Bayley interrupts them. Bayley is excited about their tag team win last week, and Bayley talks over her and says she has a surprise for Valkyria, and Valkyria wants to know what is going to happen, but Bayley wants to keep it a surprise. Wonder what that could be. Backstage, we also have Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed are conspiring against Adam Pearce when Paul Heyman walks in, and Breakker says, when they got here tonight, they had the World Championship. Now they aren't even in the Battle Royal. Heyman says, in 2002, there was a rookie who listened to him and 5 months later beat The Rock for the World WWE Championship, and that was Brock Lesnar. There was also the Best in the World Rebel in 2012, who was such a pain in the ass backstage that they were going to throw him out after 100 days. Instead, he listened to Paul Heyman and got 434 days out of the reign. And Roman Reigns listened to him and became the tribal chief. And no one remembers the big dog. How many WrestleManias did he main event compared to him being the tribal chief are incomparable. People remember Reigns' title run. It's not just about who they can slaughter. It's about the backstage politics and maneuvering. That's the vision of WWE. Heyman walks off. Breakker and Reed say they have a lot to learn and a lot of people to hurt. Backstage, Stephanie Vaquera is walking backstage with Nikki Bella. Vaquera says they will never beat her and couldn't take it. Bella says she couldn't let her get attacked and not help. Since they've become friends, Vaquera has taken the world by storm. I don't quite remember them being good friends backstage. I haven't seen them on television being friends, but I could be wrong. Who knows? Bella says Vaquera has a target on her back, and Bella tells her to be cautious because anyone can take her out, even including Bella, even though that wasn't mentioned. Vaquera says she owes Bella one. I'm sure she will by giving her a world title match at some point down the line. Bella says she just made 2 new enemies, so she'll need a partner, and Vaquera agrees, and they embrace. Oh, how wonderful and how touching. Next is the Battle Royal. Alright, so the Battle Royal consisted of Jay, Jimmy, Sheamus, AJ Styles, Dragon Lee, El Grande Americano as Dragunov, or not Dragunov, Kaiser, Penta, Finn Balor, JD McDonough, Dominic Mysterio, Eric and Ivar, Grayson Waller, Kofi Kingston, Rusev, and LA Knight. This match throughout with Rusev and, or not Rusev, with Jay and Jimmy the whole time, Jimmy was constantly saying backstage earlier in the show that he was coming for everybody, and that even includes Jay. In this matchup, it was a complete opposite. He was getting everybody else, but he was not attacking his brother. His brother saw an opportunity to eliminate someone and his brother at the same time to lower down the amount of people that were in the middle of the ring. This was near the end of the match, and he took it. And he eliminated both, I believe, LA Knight and Jimmy Uso, and they were eliminated from the match. From there, he faced Dominic Mysterio, eliminated him, and ended up becoming the number 1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. Let me just double check that because I might have mistaken that, possibly. I'm not sure. But give me 1 second to make sure of that. So, hold on 1 second. I apologize. My wife is talking to a friend of hers who just came by to pick something up. So if you hear her talking in the background, that's the reason why. Yeah, it was Dominic Mysterio who got eliminated by Jey Uso, and he walks away with the W and becomes the number 1 contender. CM Punk and Jey Uso stare off in the middle of the ring, face to face, head to head. And then the show goes off the air, and that's that. So that's pretty much what happened on Monday Night Raw. this was not a bad show. It had some good stories. Things progressed, and that was the show in a nutshell. I think it was a successful show creatively. I think some of the in-ring work that took place on this show was very decent, very entertaining stuff. And I think WWE Raw hit it right on the head for a successful show. I mean, can they do better than this? Probably. But from what we got compared to the previous episodes, I think we're getting a lot more improvement. Can we see a lot more improvement? Absolutely. But compared to where they've been the last couple of years, I think they're being more consistent with storytelling, and that has a lot to do with ESPN. I really believe that. I think since this review of WrestlePalooza, WWE has been on point creatively week to week since WrestlePalooza. They have been producing good content. They have been producing storylines that mean something, build and hype up matches that are going on to the pay-per-views, and that is what we need. That is what AEW needs to do tonight, which I'm going to be doing that review immediately after it's done, so I can get that over and done with and upload it to the channel. I do apologize to you guys that I didn't upload this last night, and that's because I was busy watching the NBA opening game. So that's the reason why I didn't have the chance to do this review. So I'm doing it now while I still have the time before Dynamite goes on the air. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, go ahead, hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. And one other thing I do want to mention. The match at, at Saturday night's main event, I honestly think that match should be debunked. Like, literally, there should be no winner. It should be like a no contest. And this match should be, the world title should be determined at Survivor Series, in my personal opinion. Because Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, I think, really deserve to be in this match. But based on what happened to get to where we are now, I can understand, and it makes sense that they didn't keep them into this Battle Royal to crown a number one contender. So I can appreciate that. And I just hope we find a way to, kind of put them into this matchup to make it entertaining. Because Jay and CM Punk, too damn predictable. I do not see Jay winning the fucking world title. I seriously doubt he's winning the world title. Punk, I can imagine, but Punk, I mean, him winning the world title and never beating Seth Rollins just kind of makes the reign mean nothing. It also means that his match with Gunther means absolutely nothing as well. I mean, it kind of sucks. CM Punk, if he becomes a world champion, he has to be beating Seth Rollins for the title, or otherwise, what is the point? So at the end of the day, I think Punk should be focused on something else. Moving him over to SmackDown for the WWE Championship against a heel like Cody Rhodes, if we happen to move him into a heel role at some point, would be fantastic. And that's possible of them actually making that occur, because we actually did get some dialogue between the two at one point in time over the WWE Championship. So, it was a couple of months ago or something like that, right after Cody won the title back at SummerSlam. So, for them to do that, that would be fantastic. I would like that idea a lot more than Punk worrying about the world title at this point, since there's no Seth Rollins in the equation. So I think the WWE Championship should be the focal point for Punk getting that title and having him win the Elimination Chamber of the Royal Rumble in doing so. Because I think the World Championship should be with Seth Rollins. Or not with Seth Rollins, with Bron Breakker. I think Bron Breakker should become the new World Champion. I don't know. I mean, I could imagine a world where they book this, where Punk does win the world title to ultimately drop the title at WrestleMania to Bron Breakker. And and Bron Breakker like winning the Royal Rumble match itself, and then having maybe like Sami Zayn win the Elimination Chamber and become the #1 contender for the WWE Championship. That I can imagine. So if they book Punk to win the world title to drop it ultimately to Bron Breakker at WrestleMania, giving Bron Breakker a Royal Rumble win plus a WrestleMania main event world title win, I would be on board with that. But still, I think the CM Punk Cody Rhodes match would be fucking fun as hell to watch. I don't think we've never gotten a one-on-one match between these two. So Cody versus CM Punk in a WrestleMania main event, I'd be like, take my money, man. Really, that would be a fun match to watch, and seeing how those two can gel together and work together. Not to mention they're the two former AEW top stars main eventing a WrestleMania match at WrestleMania. That's insane. That's just crazy. But anyway, guys, at this time, once again, hit the like button. And if you enjoyed the video, hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you guys on that. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great night, guys. Bye.